Hello and welcome to another wonderful episode of Eye on Port. This program is proudly brought to you by Serene Insurance, GRA PLC, the Ghana Revenue Authority, Ghana Link, Meridian Port Services, and Phoenix Insurance. Our proud media partner is the Business and Financial Times. This program is powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Now, this week, we are taking a look at the implementation of the E-VAT and its impact on businesses and also tax compliance in Ghana. We had in the studios two officials from the Ghana Revenue Authority E-VAT project team to deal with this particular subject. Let's take a listen.
So I'll begin with Madam Omotayo Owusu and find out from you if you can just take us back to basics and tell us what E-VAT is.
E-VAT is an electronic means of issuing VAT invoice by VAT registered taxpayers to their clients. We started E-VAT in 2022 as a project, and so far we've been able to onboard a lot of taxpayers. It is not a new tax. I always want to emphasize on that because people might think that because it's something new, it's a new tax. No, it is part of the digitalization agenda in our strategic plan.
Right.
So it is not a new tax. It is just an invoicing system that we have used so that we can be able to monitor or authenticate and validate the invoices that VAT taxpayers issue out in real time. So basically, it is just an electronic means of issuing invoices to our clients.
So you are emphatic that it's not a new tax?
No, it is just a compliance tool. It is not a new tax. The same rate of tax applies. So for standard rate traders, we have 15% VAT and then 6% levies. And then for flat rates traders, we have 3% VAT and then 1% COVID, making it 4%. Nothing has changed. It is just the invoicing that we have done. So the manual way of issuing invoices, we have moved from that to cater for the electronic invoices.
All right, so let me come to Doc and find out from you who it is that qualifies to issue E-VAT.
As Felicia said, it's an invoicing regime that replaces the manual way of issuing invoices, meaning that all VAT registered taxpayers are those who are eligible to issue the electronic VAT invoices. So it goes for all VAT registered taxpayers. So meaning that taxpayers who in the former regime were issuing manual invoices, that's what we call the Commissioner General's invoice. And then taxpayers who were given some dispensation to issue own computer-generated invoices. All that group of taxpayers now fall in the electronic invoice, and that is the E-VAT. So all taxpayers who are registered for VAT are eligible. And also taxpayers who are coming on board to register for the VAT tax type would also be given the mandate to issue electronic invoices.
All right, so imagine that I currently have a business, I'm a business, and I issue VAT invoices. Now, if I continue to issue the normal VAT invoices before the rollout of the E-VAT, am I going to be migrated, perhaps seamlessly, if you'd agree, onto the E-VAT?
All right.
Or that stops when the E-VAT takes effect?
All right. So so there is a mechanism for the rollout of the E-VAT by the Commissioner General. So what happened was that in 2022, when the law was amended, we started with a pilot phase. So we started with a pilot phase. And then after the pilot phase, we did the first phase of issuing invoices through the E-VAT and selected taxpayers who were onboarded onto the E-VAT. Now we are in the second phase, where we are onboarding 4,000 taxpayers onto the E-VAT. What happens is that the Commissioner General selects taxpayers based on certain mechanisms to be onboarded on the E-VAT in a phase. And so if you are a taxpayer, a VAT taxpayer who has been issuing manual invoices and you have been selected for onboarding onto the E-VAT and you are onboarded, you cease immediately to issue the manual invoices or the own computer-generated invoices because you are onboarded onto the E-VAT. And now you continue to issue the electronic invoices. However, if you are a taxpayer who has not yet been selected, you will continue in the traditional regime of issuing invoices until you are selected to be onboarded. But there are taxpayers who voluntarily also come to be onboarded onto the system. So if you are even not selected by the Commissioner General and you volunteer to be onboarded, the GRA is ready to onboard you to be able to issue the invoices through the electronic regime. So it is not as a seamless rollout, but it is that you are going to be onboarded, you'll be selected and onboarded. So the mechanism is that by next year, all taxpayers who are VAT registered taxpayers, all taxpayers would be onboarded onto would be not automatically, would all be taken on board and taken through the onboarding and onboarded onto the E-VAT by the GRA. All taxpayers.
Okay. Have you held stakeholder engagements on this particular
Yes.
E-VAT thing?
Yes. So we've had a couple of stakeholder engagements. So what we have done is that before any onboarding takes place, we engage taxpayers who have been selected. So even as we speak, we have started an engagement with taxpayers. We started on Thursday. Tomorrow, Monday, we are having about 400 taxpayers.
On Thursday?
Yes.
Okay.
For the second phase, the second batch of the second phase. So what we are having is that we have 4,000 taxpayers for the second phase. We've done an engagement and we have started onboarding the 2,000 of that 4,000. Now we are on the second 2,000 of the 4,000, which we started on Thursday, and then we continue tomorrow. Tomorrow Monday, we are engaging about 400 additional taxpayers, and we'll end on Thursday this week. No, we'll end on Friday rather, 1st November. We'll end on the 1st of November to be able to have all taxpayers being onboarded onto the system. So we engage a lot of stakeholders. We have had an engagement with trade associations as well. We have had an engagement with industries that we want them to know about the E-VAT. So we do stakeholder engagements, and in most cases we have also been appearing on radio, TV stations. We have been doing a lot of adverts to make sure that taxpayers are aware of the system and how we do the onboarding.
Okay, so he mentioned the fact that you have 4,000 taxpayers that you are working with at the moment. How many taxpayers do we have in Ghana?
So far, we have a lot of them, about 45,000 taxpayers that we have.
But why are you limiting it to 4,000?
No, we are doing it in phases.
Okay.
So we started way back 2022. This year we are supposed to do about 4,000. That was the directive that was given to us by the Commissioner General.
Okay.
And we have done that. What he's referring to as a stakeholder engagement that we are embarking on now is that before we can onboard anybody onto the system, we need to sensitize the person.
Absolutely.
So that is what we are doing now. So we have done the first 2,000 engagements already. That was in September. And then onboarding has started, has taken effect. And now we are onboarding the next 2,000. We still have to engage them and let them buy into whatever we are doing so that we wouldn't have challenges. Just go to a taxpayer's premises and tell you that I am coming to onboard you. It doesn't work like that. So we are going to continue with the 2,000 up to Friday, and then we start the onboarding process. It's not a difficult process for anybody to be onboarded.
So if we have like 45,000 taxpayers and you are looking at, for the first phase, 4,000, somebody might say, okay, that's not quite ambitious. How long is it going to take you to ensure that everybody's roped in? Okay,
because we work with directives. The Commissioner General has set out the rules or the guidelines for us to do. We are sure and certain that by 2025 we should be able to complete the process. You see, this is a system work, and so we don't have to just put everybody on it at a go. We need to monitor the system if there are challenges so that we can work on.
Okay. So the time frame you are working with at the moment is what? With the current 4,000 that you are working with, how soon are you expected to be done with them?
So we have different solutions. by default now, we have 3 solutions. We have the free invoicing app.
Right.
We have those who use their own system. We call it application programming interface.
Right.
They have their own ERPs, and then they have their own POS, or they have their own accounting softwares that they use.
Right.
And then we have people who also, and we call it off-the-shelf counter, like those who use their own data. They have their own software that they use. We
Right.
call it off-the-shelf. For such people, because they have their own software that they use, they would have to come to GRA for us to certify the system before they can use it.
Right.
Now, the 2 solutions that we are using currently is the free invoicing app and the application programming interface. It doesn't take much time. When it comes to the free invoicing app, it's less than a day or 2. If we contact you, we take you through the process. We make sure that you complete the email confirmation. If you are done, we take you through testing. It can be done within a day.
Right.
And then when it comes to those who use their own system, that is where the challenge is.
Right.
Because they have to make sure that the system interacts with each other, make sure that all the fields that we expect, they are in alignment before we can onboard them. So because of that, Commissioner General has given a directive that everybody would have to be on the free invoicing app for now.
Right.
And then if you have any system, we can take you through the system. Because for free invoicing app, it doesn't take much time for us to complete the process. So I am certain that by 2025, we should be able to complete.
Right.
Iron Port returns after this break.
Good energy brings you quality choices with Goil Super XP. Available in many Goil stations nationwide. It is fortified with special additives that help your engine perform better and use less fuel. Branch into a Goil station today and energize your ride with Goil Super XP, compatible with most vehicles. Goil Super XP, Wufilia, huh? Wubefeel. Goil, good energy. Ja, dia.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Tell God, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302 246 319 or 0243 690 492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
Welcome to the GPHA port of Takoradi, Ghana's first commercial port. The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority-GPHA has in its quest to position the ports of Ghana as the leading trade and logistics hub of West Africa, embarked on a massive expansion drive at its Takoradi port, the first commercial port of the country. This has resulted in a radical transformation of the initial 7-berth low-drafted port, which was constructed in 1928, to an ultra-modern port fitted with deep-drafted container, multi-purpose dry bulk, and liquid bulk facilities. The 16-meter deep dry bulk terminal is the deepest in the sub-region, with a total quay length of 800 meters. It is fitted with a combined 3-kilometer length conveyor system, which comes with a 2,500 metric tons per hour ship loading capacity, which has greatly improved ship turnaround time at the port. The Marshall Liquid Bulk Terminal is a fully automated liquid bulk facility dredged to -14 chart datum and equipped with automated firefighting system. The facility is fitted with 5 loading arms for gasoline, diesel, LPG, bitumen, and heavy fuel. On the container side, Takoradi Port's 16-meter deep yield port and ATSL container terminal with a quay length of 600 is expected to receive container vessels in the 3rd quarter of the year.
Welcome back from the break. Now, news and activities happening within the port and maritime industry next.
The Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport has successfully held its 2024 Logistics and Transport Conference, Exhibition and Annual General Meeting in Accra. The event brought together local and international industry players and decision makers to discuss solutions focused on advancing a green economy and sustainability. The 2-day conference served as a solution-oriented platform for professional members, industry practitioners, policymakers, academics, and experts to engage in discussions on the latest trends, challenges, and innovations in the logistics, transport, and supply chain sectors. The president of CILT Ghana, Engineer Mark Amwama, noted despite Ghana's effort to transition to a green and circular economy, the country has yet to make significant strides in that direction.
The vision of this conference is solution-focused. Our conversation and discussions are to consider what green and circular opportunities there are to Ghana, new frameworks and strategies for enhancing green and circular economy, indeed opportunities for job creation. We must deliberate and intentionally drive this transition as professionals.
CILT International President Chief Titi Owusu-Norte emphasized that despite the pivotal role of transport and logistics in sustaining economies, providing employment and fostering social interaction, the profession remains undervalued.
And it's hard to encourage new talents and professionals to join our sector. However, as part of the legacy project of my presidency, I've instituted an international day to acknowledge and celebrate the contribution the industry play in society.
In a speech delivered on behalf of the Minister of Transport by the Director of Planning, Programming, Monitoring and Evaluation at the Ministry of Transport, Irene Mesiba, she noted that the government remains committed to promoting green transportation through key policies and regulations aimed at addressing developmental challenges.
To lay the foundation for decarbonization, a National Energy Transition Framework 2022 to 2070 has been developed. This framework will ensure that Ghana's transition is achieved in a just and equitable manner.
She added that recognizing the critical role of the logistics and supply chain industry in economic growth, the government has improved physical infrastructure and services at seaports and airports to support economic development.
In the maritime sector, the two main seaports of Tema and Takoradi have been expanded to establish and maintain their status as the leading ports and centers of commerce and industry in West Africa.
In his presentation, the group chairman of the Magdan Group of Companies, Dr. Daniel Macaulay, hinted at plans to revive the defunct Black Star Line to boost intra-African trade.
I want to brave it, I want to invest, I want to take the risk so that association like CILT, Conshi, and all the rest should come in to buy a share so that it become a national vessel. We are reviving the Black Star Line.
As part of the ongoing promoting transparency, accountability, and local capacity to address the destabilizing impact of foreign distant water fishing vessels project, a pilot training workshop was held in Accra last Wednesday. The workshop aimed to evaluate and improve the capabilities and functionalities of key agencies such as the Monitoring, Control, and Surveillance Division of the Fisheries Commission, the Ghana Navy, and the Marine Police. This initiative marks a critical step ahead of Phase 2 of the project. The project, launched 20 months ago by the Center for Maritime Law and Security Africa, in collaboration with the Center for Coastal Management at the University of Cape Coast, is funded by the U.S. Department of State. It is being implemented in 7 countries across the Gulf of Guinea and Mauritania, namely Benin, Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, Senegal, Sierra Leone, Ghana, and Mauritania. Key talking points during the workshop included legal and institutional frameworks guiding fisheries management, illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing practices, as well as operational and ethical challenges of monitoring, control, and surveillance centers in Ghana. The team lead at Semlos Africa, Dr. Kamal Dean Ali, spoke to Ion Port on the sidelines of the workshop.
Ghana is one of the countries where the industrial sector is generally reserved for nationals. But when you go into it in detail, you realize that there's a lot of foreign beneficial participation and control in the industrial sector. So we are also working on a strategy. We have had initial consultations with industry. We build upon that. We'll have another consultation with industry next month to validate the strategy. And this will be presented at the policy level and hopefully adopted by the ministry and the country as a pathway to be able to reposition the industrial sector.
On his part, the director of the Center for Coastal Management, University of Cape Coast, Professor Dennis Aheto, emphasized the need for actors in the fisheries sector to develop a regional approach to development.
Through IUU fishing, you allow your seas to be poached. You know, it creates a lot of problem for other countries. That's why we need to have this regional. There's a need for the regional bodies to come together. Countries to come together to support the regional bodies to work together.
The Deputy Director at the Monitoring, Control and Surveillance Division at the Fisheries Commission, who is one of the training participants, Dr. Charles Tay, said the program will help his outfit regulate the marine fisheries space.
At every 1 hour, we check every vessel that is within our EEZ. If you don't have our vessel VMS on you, we have AIS that we could use to check. So this is in line with helping to curb IUU fishing in our waters.
Let's take a listen to some international ports and maritime news.
First cargo handling operations using a hydrogen-fueled rubber-tied gantry RTG crane have begun in Japan. The Bureau of Port and Harbour Tokyo Metropolitan Government, Nippon Yusen Kabushiki Kaisha, Uni-X NCT, Mitsui E&S, and Iwatani Corporation have installed fuel cells on the RTG crane at OI Container Terminal. The partners aim to promote the use of hydrogen in cargo handling machinery and the decarbonization of the Port of Tokyo. By replacing the diesel engine generators of the RTGs, the companies intend to verify whether the same cargo handling capacity as before can be achieved while using hydrogen as fuel, which does not emit CO2 during power generation. Hamburg Port Authority and the Port of Shanghai have signed at a forum in Shanghai a memorandum of understanding to establish a green shipping corridor. The MOU aims to make the shipping industry more environmentally friendly and low carbon and promote the sustainable development of global maritime transport. Together with shipping giant COSCO Shipping Lines and the Shanghai International Port Group, the Shanghai Municipal Transportation Commission and the HPA are working on the implementation of the Green Shipping Corridor. The aim is to accelerate the decarbonization of maritime transport by working with technical equipment suppliers, energy suppliers, cargo owners, terminals, and shipping companies.
It's now time for the schedules of vessels in the port, those at Takoradi and those expected in the coming week, plus the Bank of Ghana exchange rate you need to know to clear your goods from the port. It's now time for our word or phrase of the day.
Short-landed. Short-landed refers to cargo volume count at delivery destination less than originally shipped.
So we have a new segment, which is the safety tip segment, and this particular segment is meant to bring to you some health and safety issues we all need to know to guide us in our daily operations.
Safety helmets. Safety helmets or hard hats are designed to protect the head against falling objects and the side of the head, eyes, and neck from any untoward impacts, bumps, scraps, and electrical exposure, etc.
We have your comments next.
Manuel from Kaswa says, how will the transition to E-VAT impact small businesses that currently rely on manual invoicing? Hi Manuel, Dr. Nabarise says,
small businesses who are VAT taxpayers who are issuing invoices through the manual regime. So as we indicated, all these small businesses will also be migrated onto the E-VAT. The system is that you are going to just use a mobile phone as a small business to be able to issue your invoice. It becomes easier with a mobile phone, or if you have a tablet, if you have a desktop, it is easier. Now the impact is that you are going to have a positive impact. My colleague said that you as a business would even be able to have data readily available for your own analytics. It helps you as a small business to be able to know how your sales have been moving, to be able to, without your manual way of calculating your tax, easy for you to be able to calculate your tax, because we know that some of these small businesses sometimes even have to look for ways of calculating the tax on the invoice. It becomes tedious. A lot of calculators to be able to punch to do the invoice and all that. It's seamless. The moment you put the amount, your tax is calculated. It makes it easier for you. So that is a very positive impact for taxpayers who are small businesses, and it also helps them in the filing that she mentioned. If you are going to, what we are doing is to make sure that we are integrating the taxpayers portal with the E-VAT, and then it becomes easier for filing. Your VAT 20, which is the return, will automatically be populated for your verification. And once you verify and sign, you click a button and filing is done for you easily. And GRA is already doing filing online, so it becomes easier for you to do your filing. So those are very good impacts that will benefit small businesses.
Abitemi from Nungwa says, can you elaborate on the training and resources available for businesses to help them adapt to the E-VAT system effectively? Hello, Abi. Madam Owusu says,
when it comes to training, we don't just onboard the person and then ask the person to go live. We do training. So we make sure that the person understands. The person will be taken through every aspect of it in terms of issuance of the invoice, when it's refund, what you're supposed to do, and all that thing. So the training is very important for us. If we have not trained you, we cannot allow you to even issue the invoices. And then the resources. You see, you need, as a small business, as I said, for the free invoicing app, you would need a desktop, a mobile phone or a tablet, something that you can use. And with these resources, you are supposed to purchase them. And then when you purchase them, it is not a loss to the company, because when you are filing your tax returns at the end of the year, there's something that we grant, we call it capital allowance. These are capital intensive that you have got. So it means that you need these equipment for you to be able to issue the invoices electronically. So the resources, you would have to purchase it. But at the end of the day, you have a way of refunding it. The GRA would give you that refund. In terms of capital allowance, we'll grant you capital allowance. But make sure that whatever you are acquiring, the resources that you are acquiring, it is in line of the business. It is not your personal interest, but for the business.
Okay.
That's all for this week's episode of Iron Port. Thank you for watching, and thanks to the entire crew. Join us same time next week, and also don't forget to follow us on our various social media platforms on your screens.